In today's video, we're going to check out this from the Gorilla Channel from some zoo somewhere. I don't know, Fort something. Doesn't matter, it's the same everywhere you go. Well, I guess it's not totally the same everywhere you go. Your zoo either has funding for a gorilla troop or they don't. And so you'll either have a gorilla enclosure that never has gorillas in it. That's really common. Or it's a more well-funded. I guess I'd throw in the third category of like third world zoos where they're like smoking cigarettes and in really, really dingy cement enclosures. So there's kind of three tiers to the gorilla suits. Let's watch this video and tell me if you think this is real life, if that's a real animal, or if you're being played. Oh, I gotta start it over. I was watching it earlier.
Shoot, she doesn't know.
Watch the lady does the sign of the cross.
No, get the kids away. Yeah.
Come here, guys. We're gonna go inside.
Yeah.
We're gonna go inside.
The lady is kind of ridiculous. Starts asking God for help. Praying, which who knows, maybe that's a legit person. It makes me think like, oh, bless their heart. There are a lot of people out there that are just easily deceived, but it's kind of like, is it bad to, it's not bad that they're praying for this person's safety. They really think that they're in danger, I think. But you'll see that the Reddit comments try to talk down how this lady's praying to God to save it. And, you know, so part of me is like, oh, I feel bad that you're deceived, that you think that there's actually stuff going on. But on the other hand, it's like, that's nice that Christians do pray for people in situations like that. But of course, you'll see the world mock that idea.
God help her. God protect her.
You know, this animal
God,
coming
animals obey the sound of her voice.
Like, part of me wants to chuckle at this lady, but also bless her heart for going to prayer. I can't say anything bad about that. I just want to skip around for copyright reasons. I don't think anything interesting really happens, but I think that bit at the beginning, that this was a orchestrated event.
Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord.
Okay, let's watch the beginning one more time. Very dramatic, knocking that box, the milk box around, or whatever that is, milk crate. Alright, let's look at the comments. What did the people have to say? Do yourselves a favor and watch this on mute. People praying for someone not to be brutally beaten to death. Oh, the horror. So you even see some division among the people of Reddit. People, it's like Reddit has gone so over the top. And that's one of the ways where evil undoes itself and they dig their own pit. They protesteth way too much about this stuff, and you'll see the unnecessarily targeted Christian. So it's always Christian. It's never, they never want to bash down any other religion besides Christianity. And that is so obvious when you just start paying attention. What other prophet, more than a prophet, obviously, but what other religion has a prophet in their religion relentlessly mocked on the world stage? It's always Jesus who is being taken in vain or being mocked on the world stage. And I think that's just further proof that Jesus Christ is the Messiah. It's nothing really has changed. He's still being mocked by the world today. I saw it on TikTok first and cringed so much. Bro, props to the parents present, advising and telling the kids to go inside. This could have taken a turn for the worse. The worst. Really quick. And this is where, yeah, part of me chuckles, but then part of me, it does warm my heart to know that it really is Christians. You do see out there that Christians do really care about people and they do turn to prayer in times of need. And I can't say anything bad about that, but yeah, part of me chuckles knowing that this was all a production. And a lot of times you see Christians' charity being taken advantage of. Evil people, they know that, well, they think of them as being easily duped and taken advantage of. But there's really nothing wrong about that if the person really does think they're helping them out. But, obviously we want to be aware of the things that our enemy does. Juicer philosopher. I would have engaged my inner ape and distracted him while the zookeeper escapes. Ooh, 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 ah, ah, ah. How exactly the zookeepers ended up in the enclosure with him. Great demonstration of knowing how to handle yourself as a zookeeper. Look at this comment, though. As a former keeper, a similar thing happened to me, but with a cheetah. What could have happened was either the gorilla used his crazy strength. What? They never actually show feats of strength. They'll zip around, they'll bang into things. Like, that was perfect, that little milk crate thing that he banged into. That's the kind of antics that they get up to, but you won't see them lifting heavy objects. Miscommunication, the keepers were in the exhibit still and someone let them out. This is less likely since the two keepers were also probably in charge of letting the gorillas out once done. This is the important part of this comment. Very limited staff would have keys to animals of this danger level. This danger level or this level of Illuminati. I guarantee to you that the giant anteaters are the same story, that like 1 or 2 people have access max. If you're some low-level zoo person, try to ask if you can go check out the giant anteaters off the clock or whatever, and it's not going to happen. Okay, I mean, even that, how many people work at zoos? Somebody at a zoo should be able to go check out the gorillas off the clock, when there's some janitor thing. But I wonder, janitors got to have some stories. They might even pick Illuminati people to be janitors of the gorilla enclosures. Because I have seen them, they'll like take poop and take pee and just like splatter it in the most obvious middle spot in the gorilla enclosure. They will never have gorilla poop wedged in, like real life. This is how real life works. When you keep animals inside enclosures, they find the worst places to poop and pee and make a mess. However, in Magic Fantasyland, like these gorilla enclosures, there will be a giant pile of poop and pee right in the middle. Nobody will see. I mean, maybe. I'll say sometimes they do build in a gag where a lot of these, you'll hear stories, oh, we saw them eat poop. It's probably like a Snickers bar or whatever, something they cooked up in the back, and it's just a gag that's built into their suit. But what I've personally witnessed, I'm just saying because I haven't seen the poop gag myself, although I know it exists. What I have seen is, oh, what do you know? Right in the middle, so easy to clean up. It's like in the most easy to clean up spot, there was a pile of poop and pee in the gorilla enclosure. And it's like, well, how come it's never up in the jungle area, smushed into stuff, caked into the ropes? Never will you see it in a hard to clean up spot because they don't want that. I mean, usually the enclosures are so empty, so barren, because they want to keep it low maintenance, I guess. Okay, that was not an angry gorilla. That was a gorilla reminding the puny humans who's the ruler of that enclosure. It's drama, not aggression. What do you think this person thinks? Think they really believe in this stuff, or they're getting a chuckle? Wow, that was better than a lot of movies out in the theater. Glad she was safe. Peaches and mangoes. Peach equals 33. He's a paid actor. They told him to do it. So what do you think? Do you think that all of these commenters are just making jokes? Or do you think that there's a lot of people out there that have always known that gorillas are a hoax? And they kind of get off on joking about it. Let's check out these comments. I think it was Elmo who, on seeing me behind the glass right there, decided he didn't like me and ran up and threw a shoulder into the glass, which shuddered as everyone else ran out of the little foyer running. Me? Deer in the headlights. If that glass hadn't stopped him, I'd be paced. Wow, very dramatic. Yeah, he's done that to me too. It's like someone's throwing a truck at you. Apparently he does it frequently, and it's probably kind of a game for him. I was told he knows he can't break the glass, and he's just showing people who's boss when people are being rude to him by staring directly at him or any females. It's all a production. It's all a play, and they do their little gags. They run up and smack the glass. They pound their chests to sell it. Been a while since I've been to the zoo. Dang, they've really upped their game with the suspense and theatrical elements. Okay? Just admit that you've been duped and that people have always known that this is fake, and they're chuckling and waiting for you to get in on the joke too. All of this, it always reminds me of the game of Spoons, the card game Spoons. There's a whole group of people out there that have already picked up a spoon, and they're waiting for you to pick up your spoon too, until there's only one person left that still believes in this BS. Something that I'll look at later, I think. This is a good topic, because I always tell people, if you're new to this concept of gorillas not being a real animal, but always being a deception, if you're new to that idea, one of the easiest ways is to go look at old suits and notice how different they are. Now, there's really good old suits. Practical effect technology is, I mean, maybe weird to call it technology, but practical effects look really good, and these fursuits can look really good. It just takes an amazing amount of man hours to build these things, but there's probably a reason that this suit is looking away. I bet the face would have looked a little janky on this one. I don't know. I just like this guy's goofy what is going on? His hands being covered? That's something weird. Very strange. I don't know. Dainty little feet, though. Very dainty ankles. I think that one's face probably looked like this, more like at a Planet of the Apes. They've always been doing the same BS with the mirrors. Oh, they're just like us. The deception is, I think, as obvious as outer space, in that there's a clear agenda here. They want you to believe in evolution. Just like the NASA stuff, they want you to believe in their fake cosmological model. I think it's just as obvious. I think that there should be just as many channels out there talking about fake fursuits as there are NASA stuff. This is low-hanging fruit, and I know one channel, some German channel, has talked about the suits. That's cool. Other than that, you could easily start a channel and post a new video every day of ridiculous suit antics and breaking it down. So I think that this is still a big conspiracy topic that hasn't taken off how it really should, because I think it's as obvious as the NASA stuff, and especially these old suits in the face. They don't make them like this anymore with the shininess. Got nothing. What are those little toes? Those are weird looking. No genitals. What type of mammal doesn't have any genitals? Like, this is where male genitalia should be, right here, and it's nothing. When have you ever heard of that? This is pretty cute, though. That little foot is bizarro looking. But yeah, I mean, to be a mammal, you would have genitals, right? Isn't that? External genitalia seems to be a normal thing for male mammals, as far as I know. And something this big would have large testosterone production. Look at the hands on this one. The mitts on this one are all wrong. It's so big. It's actually kind of hard. So this one, the scale looks all off. But the suit more or less looks very good. But it's like they hadn't finalized the design yet on gorillas. The mitts are way too big on this one. And were they normally covered? These ones' hands are all covered in fur. But I feel like a lot of times now, the hands aren't so furry. You know, sometimes it's hard to keep they can't even keep their story straight. They're inventing new lore for their creatures all the time. But anyways, those hands are not right, and it's not how they do them anymore. Old photos of gorillas are really hard to come by. Okay, sorry I haven't been reading a lot from the Bible. You probably can tell that I'm a little congested, so I don't feel like reading large amounts of KJV right now. I mean, I feel like it, but physically I don't feel well enough to do that. But I'm going to read this, because this is what they're attacking. They really have convinced people, just like they've convinced people they live on a spinny space ball. They have convinced people that they're a monkey, and that's not true. Man is clearly on a different level from animal, and That's because man was made in the image of God, and there's not an animal out there that was made in the image of God. So here we go. Genesis chapter 1, verse 27. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them. That's it for this video. God bless everyone.